Yeah, this is Larry Krueger, and 49er fans know that here on Josh's Football Breakdowns, we don't tell you what you're seeing, we let the film tell us what we're seeing.
Thank you, Larry. And what we saw on Sunday is hard to put into words. San Francisco absolutely obliterated one of its rivals in the NFC. Brock Purdy made his case for MVP. And right from the first play of the game, San Francisco dominated in the trenches. Welcome to Josh's Football Breakdowns. And what better way to start the game than with a run to Christian McCaffrey? Trent Williams and George Kittle double team right at the point of attack. George Kittle would eventually head downfield to block the linebacker, Damone Clark. Kyle Juszczyk is the lead blocker on the play, but it's the block of Deebo Samuel that neutralizes Donovan Wilson. And something that better football teams do is put their opponents in a position where they have to commit penalties. Wilson is beaten, so he has to grab Christian McCaffrey by the helmet. By rule, you're not allowed to grab through any opening in the helmet, and that would be a 15-yard penalty against the Cowboys on the first play of the game. After another Christian McCaffrey run, the 49ers threaten to go back to him again, faking the handoff. And just look how that defense reacts, leaving Brandon Aiyuk one-on-one, and you can see his defender is giving him a lot of space and set up just barely to the inside. Brandon Aiyuk takes the space the defense left behind. Better teams force their opponents to commit penalties, and faced with the difficult task of bumping George Kittle and then coming on the delayed blitz, Leighton Vander Esch lines up offsides. The pass falls incomplete, but we can already see the flag on the field, meaning this play never happened. The penalty moves San Francisco even further downfield, and they are cutting through the Dallas defense like butter on this opening drive. And finally, Brock Purdy just stares right down the pike, and we see both of these defenders are completely flat-footed here. Now, they have no idea what route George Kittle is running. Maybe he's running it out. Maybe he's going to the corner. Maybe he's running a post. It doesn't really matter. When George Kittle goes to the back pylon, they are completely unprepared and completely out of position to play any defense on this route whatsoever. But Dallas is getting some pressure in the pocket. Purdy just stays calm, escapes the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield, and then finds George Kittle wide open in the back of the end zone. Touchdown 49ers, and that was a quick opening drive. Beautiful throw on the run that hits Kittle right in between the 8 and the 5. So with Dallas trailing 7-0, they're facing a 3rd and 3. And when I told you that San Francisco dominated in the trenches, they dominated on both sides of the ball. Check out Nick Bosa and Arik Armstead here. Bosa gets home and Armstead helps clean it up. Let's go back to the snap. From this angle, we get a great look at the pass rush from both men. Let's start with Nick Bosa first. Great jump off the line of scrimmage, and then he uses his arms and hands to neutralize the arms of Terrence Steele, gaining leverage around the corner. Now let's take a look at the rush from Armstead. Stymied initially, Arik Armstead does a good job of using Zach Martin's own momentum against him, and uses his hands. Again, we see great handwork here, swiping away and getting to the inside, almost like a Tai Chi move. The Cowboys would be forced to punt, but they would eventually get the ball back. Backed up at the 5-yard line, they use the guard and the fullback to block for Tony Pollard. And it's a fumble, and the 49ers appear to recover it in bounds miraculously. Let's take another look. All right, I stopped it here. We see Fred Warner, who had a tremendous day for the 49ers on defense, and I'm just going to draw a line straight from his right hand to the ball. Watch as Fred Warner punches this ball out. And of all the funny bounces a football can take, this one stays in bounds and doesn't touch any of the players who are out of bounds, allowing the 49ers to recover. Wow. Take one more look. So the 49ers get the ball and they are apparently in business. But fate is not without a sense of irony. Just 2 plays later, Christian McCaffrey would take it and he would fumble the football back to the Dallas Cowboys. Wow. Perfect hit by Jordan Lewis, and McCaffrey would land on top of Lewis, so no part of McCaffrey's body touches the ground. The ball comes out, and it's recovered by Lewis. Great play by Jordan Lewis. So the Cowboys get the ball, but once again they're facing a 3rd down. So here we see Fred Warner just keeping an eye on Dak, acting as a spy, making sure that Dak doesn't run for that 1st down, and then he comes on the delayed pressure. And that has the effect of disrupting these routes by the receivers, meaning the timing for everything is thrown off. Dak doesn't really have a place to go with the football, and he decides to scramble. In the ye olden days, they would have told these guys to run parallel with the quarterback. But now they want these guys to immediately turn upfield and put pressure on the quarterback, so that's what Fred Warner does. Dak still has nowhere to go with the football, and he is sacked by Fred Warner deep in Dallas territory. Perfectly played by Fred. After a short punt, the 49ers get the ball, and this would set up what was, without a doubt, the most spectacular play of the game. McCaffrey to the wide receiver, back to the quarterback who goes way downfield to the tight end who's wide open for a touchdown, and San Francisco goes up 14-0 with some razzle-dazzle. Now that all happened very quickly, so let's take another look. That sure is an impressive play, and let me think, where have I seen that before? No, it wasn't from the Detroit Lions earlier in the day who did it. Die-hard fans of the 49ers will know. San Francisco ran this play all the way back in Super Bowl 16. Let's take a look. Here we see the handoff to the running back, and there's the tight end pretending to block for that run before heading downfield. The only difference is the Bengals defended the play better than the Cowboys did. Shanahan said they practiced this play for over a year before they ran it, so let's take a look at how it works. They start with the run to Christian McCaffrey. Here we see the tight end pretending to block for that run. McCaffrey gets the ball to the wide receiver heading the other way, and look how the motion of Deebo causes the defense to react the wrong way. Shanahan burns the Cowboys with the exotic play call, and the players executed. With the 49ers up 2 touchdowns now, Dallas needs to make something happen. They put the speedy Turpin in motion, and Isaiah Oliver goes with him, telling the Cowboys that this is probably man-to-man coverage. And here we can see that the 49ers are sending a blitz, meaning they're only going to have one safety back deep. And look where that safety is. He's on the near hash. And this leaves Isaiah Oliver vulnerable because while he's been playing pretty good in recent weeks, one thing he does lack is a little bit of speed. And here he's defending one of the fastest players on the Cowboys, Turpin. So when Turpin goes to the corner, there's no way the safety can get over there to provide any help. And this touchdown was schemed open by the Dallas Cowboys. It's an excellent job by Mike McCarthy and a great throw by Dak Prescott. Touchdown, Dallas. Now, Armstead does get a little pressure on this play, but it's not enough to affect the throw of Dak Prescott. And the Cowboys are on the board, down 14-7. But check out Jaron Kearse here. Look at the spacing. He's concerned about the potential pick play between Brandon Aiyuk and Ray McCloud. He thinks Aiyuk is going to the outside. He thinks he recognizes the play, so he decides to beat Aiyuk to the spot. And he gets surprised pretty badly when Aiyuk turns back to the inside. And the ball just comes out of nowhere. Bot Purdy doing his thing. Thanks to Kyle Brandt for coining that term. And now that I got that right, we can take a look at this next play, because here the 49ers are facing a third down, and it looks like they have Christian McCaffrey open, but this is a pretty tight window, and there's defenders all around, but he's only got to get to that 50-yard line. That's where they have to get for the first down, so Brock Purdy takes the throw. And McCaffrey takes a big hit, and we can see flags coming in at the end of this thing. Why? Let's go back and take a look. All right, let's take a look at Donovan Wilson here. We already called his name once on the personal foul face mask penalty, but watch as he comes in and delivers the hit, and I have no idea if he meant to do this, but this is a brutal helmet-to-helmet shot against Christian McCaffrey. Take a look. So that's the first penalty, and here we see the second penalty on Kearse. You're not allowed to stand over an opponent like that. By rule, that is taunting, and the officials called it here. So what they ended up saying was they declined the taunting penalty and accepted the personal foul penalty, giving the 49ers 15 yards after the play, and the officials got that wrong because the personal foul occurred during the play, and the taunting is after the play, so that should have been one of those rare situations where they tack on both penalties, giving the 49er 30 yards, but it's all right. 15 yards is all they need. So the penalty moves San Francisco downfield 15 yards. That's pretty significant. They're starting to threaten to get into that scoring area again, and Dallas really doesn't want to allow that, so here they decide to send a blitz. And this is where your feel as a play caller is really important, because here Shanahan makes the perfect play call designed specifically to take advantage of the blitz. He calls a screen pass, allowing all those defenders to get upfield on purpose so that he can get the ball into the hands of Christian McCaffrey with blockers out in front of him. At a moment in the game where the Cowboys were hoping to come up with some negative yardage, the play gains 19 yards for San Francisco. Now that was simply a good play call, but on this play, we see the true genius of Kyle Shanahan. Notice Deebo Samuel lined up in the backfield. George Kittle goes to the post, taking two defenders with him. Juwan Jennings goes to the sideline, taking a man with him. And turn your attention all the way to the outside. No, that's not a wide receiver, that's Christian McCaffrey. This is significant because this route all the way to the outside like that is the lowest percentage play. But he's got a corner on him. And that's the whole idea. The 49ers have cleared out the middle of the field so they can get the ball to a man underneath. And to boot, because they have a corner on Christian McCaffrey, that means a linebacker is covering Deebo Samuel. Because Shanahan lined up Deebo in the backfield to start with, he created a mismatch against the defense and put his personnel in an advantageous position. One last thing I want to mention, this is still a pretty tight window, but Brock Purdy is able to fit this ball right in there. What a great throw. And McCaffrey finishes the drive, punching it in and making the score San Francisco 21, Dallas 7. Dominating in the trenches? Check out Colton McKivitz just destroying DeMarcus Lawrence on this play. Let's move ahead to the third quarter. So here we can see Nick Bosa on his pass rush, and he's being blocked by Terrence Steele, and look at the hands of Steele. They're clearly on the outside of the framework of the body. That is the textbook definition of holding, and Bosa gets brought to the ground, and it's a big play by the Dallas Cowboys that would end up leading to a field goal. I mean, that was pretty egregious, but I guess the officials decide they want to let him play, so... The score makes it 21-10, 49ers on top. Interestingly enough, there's two kickers in the NFL that are 28 for 28 on kicks right now, and they play for the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers, both rookies. So San Francisco gets the ball back. Here they've got two tight ends and a fullback and a running back in the formation. This is a running play, right? Well, Dallas seems to think so. They bring a lot of players up to the line of scrimmage to defend against a potential running play. And the 49ers start this play by putting the fullback in motion to the other side of the formation, and the safety goes with him. Why? Well, just like we talked about last week, those tight ends are eligible receivers, so the 49ers now have 3 receivers to one side of the formation. Dallas has to adjust their defense to account for that. And because the Cowboys have all those players up at the line to account for the threat of the run, this puts Brandon Aiyuk in a really good one-on-one situation. But there's an interesting wrinkle to all this, which is that San Francisco does not ever actually fake the handoff. They never fake it to Christian McCaffrey. So there's nothing actually holding these guys up at the line, and Leighton Vander Esch is able to get great depth on this play. This play isn't going to work for the 49ers unless it's a really deep route by Brandon Aiyuk. And that in turn is going to require an excellent throw by Brock Purdy. Dime. You can't have an excellent throw by Brock Purdy on a long developing route like that without excellent pass protection. Just look at this pocket Purdy has to throw from. And what a throw. And finally, from this angle, we can see Brock Purdy holding the safety to that side of the field with his eyes. The Cowboys would adjust, and this time they take away the middle of the field. And take a look at the defender on Brandon Aiyuk. He is not going to allow him to take the outside. Instead, he's setting up to the outside. But Brandon Aiyuk runs such a good route, it doesn't really matter. He sticks his foot in the ground, and it just freezes the defender, allowing Aiyuk to come wide open. And again, we see another spectacular throw by Brock Purdy. Look at that. Unfortunately, this play did not count. Here the officials ruled that Spencer Burford was holding Odigizua. And I can't really get mad at the officials for calling that. It's an accurate call. But what I can be annoyed at is they didn't make the call when there was holding against Nick Bosa, which led to points by the Cowboys. And then they make this call, taking away an unbelievable play. So, it's frustrating, right? But it turns out the officials aren't bots, they're actually human beings. Now, of course, it was a penalty, so that backs the 49ers up, and here they're facing 3rd and long. But here the 49ers have a plan, and that plan is simply to stretch the zone of the Dallas Cowboys. Deebo Samuel takes the space the defense left behind, and you can see that this only works if it's a deep route once again, which is interesting. You think 3rd and 14, Shanahan called a deep route. Well, sort of. This play only works if it's a deep route, and again, that requires an accurate throw by the quarterback, and he can only make that throw if he has excellent protection. And it's another dot by Brock Purdy way down the field, 42 yards on the play. This red-hot 49er offense is firing on all cylinders. The players are executing at the highest possible level, and Shanahan is demonstrating absolute mastery of play design and play calling. Case in point, once again the 49ers come out with 2 tight ends, a fullback, and a running back. But this time they fake the handoff to Christian McCaffrey. The defense reacts to the fake. Donovan Wilson is torched, and they've turned loose the worst possible player with a free path to the end zone, George Kittle. And Purdy makes it look like backyard football. While one team is executing a flawlessly crafted game plan, the other team starts pressing. Down 28-10, Dak makes a really bad decision here. The Cowboys send Brandon Cooks deep, but the 49ers have a safety back there. There's no play here. And to make matters worse, Kevin Givens beats his man and gets immediate pressure on Dak Prescott, who throws this ball early, just leaving it hanging up in the air for Tashawn Gipson to come down with it. Interception for the 49ers. Huge play. Up 28-10 with time winding down in the third quarter, the 49ers go back to work and start picking apart the zone. And this time, they use a different method to beat the zone defense, putting zone defenders into conflict. Notice the stem of the route of Juwan Jennings. It looks like he's going deep, so the safety has to get depth. They're already down 28-10. He can't give up a long touchdown now. Juwan Jennings takes the space the defense left behind, but what about those 2 defenders down there? Well, as you can see, the 49ers have run 3 players into the area of 2 defenders. And once again, it's another outstanding throw from Brock Purdy. Did it seem like the Cowboys just didn't have enough players to defend that? Well, you might be right. because Dallas sent a blitz on this play. But once again, the protection is excellent. Jennings goes down a little awkwardly, but then pops right back up. The 49ers finish the drive with everyone's favorite play, Spider 2 Y Banana. They fake the handoff to the running back, the fullback heads to the end zone, and all 11 Dallas Cowboys react to the fake, at least initially. 4 touchdown passes on the day for Brock Purdy, who once again leads the NFL in passer rating and has loudly announced his contention for the Most Valuable Player award. It's only week 5, but if he keeps playing like this, it's going to be really hard to argue against him. Down 35-10. When it rains, it pours. Diamador Lenore with the tight coverage. The ball is deflected and intercepted by who else? Fred Warner, who had a monster game for the defense. And you guys won't believe what happens on the very next play. Kyle Juszczyk gets enough of Micah Parsons. George Kittle blocks to the outside. Malik Hooker overruns the play, and Jordan Mason does the rest. And the route is on, 42-10 49ers. They came to see a defense, and the wrong one showed up. Where was Micah Parsons? Where was DeMarcus Lawrence? The 49ers were the ones making all the plays on D, intercepting Dak Prescott 3 times and recovering a fumble. And which quarterback looked like the seasoned veteran and which one looked like the second-year player? Oren Burks reads the eyes of the quarterback and simply jumps this route. Burks has gotten a lot of snaps at that third linebacker position, and I suspect he will continue to get them. After this play, both teams would empty their benches, and that would pretty much do it. And that'll do it for us here on Josh's Football Breakdowns. But be sure to tune in to the Friday show where we recap this game. And I'm bringing a special guest on this Friday, so you won't want to miss it. And be sure to leave me a comment. I read every comment, and I feature some of them every Friday on this channel. So leave me a comment, and your comment could end up on Josh's Football Breakdowns. And I'd like to take a moment here just to say an extra special thanks to those of you who have helped to support this channel. Guys, I can't thank you enough. Your support means everything to me. It really, really does help. It is essential in keeping this channel going. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You humble me. You honor me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really mean it. All right. Be sure to tune in Friday for the Friday show, and I will see you guys then.